So what I have right here is a long piece of cherry, and what I've actually been doing is I've been breaking down and marking out along here 2-inch segments. So my track saw, what I'll be using is the back of that blade will line up perfectly here. And so if that's where it's gonna line up, every time I go to this next line, it's actually going to line me up for my next cut. And if you look here, I've got that tiny little indent. Now what that indent's going to do is it accommodates for the blade thickness on my track saw. So the blade here, it's actually, I think it's about 2 millimeters thick because it's German and I think they use that. But what that's going to do is give me just a little bit of space here so that each one of these pieces that I'm cutting is actually going to be the exact same thickness. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to group everything together on the end grain and glue it up, and that's going to become a butcher block. So this is the setup that I have right now for my track saw. What this is a dust collector that actually attaches to this bin down here. So as opposed to clogging up the filter in my shop vac, it all goes into that chamber and it helps keep dust out of the air and just create a better experience, extracting the dust from the blade faster so it reduces heating up. What I have going on here for a setup, if you can see, I've got this is actually a drywall square, but it works perfectly. This is about exactly 2 inches, so it lines up with my little nicks there. And then what I can do is I can back this up. So every single cut that I'm doing, I have a clamp under here that goes into my track saw. And then this way, every time I'm moving my track, I release the clamp. I back off the track onto my line here. Move the other clamp. I put it on my line, right? But now it's not square. So when I bump this up, it hides underneath the blade and it's gonna stay square on the wood here. And this way I can both line it up here and make sure that my track is straight. Sometimes the front edge of the track here, as you can see, I've dinged it up, accidentally not running it properly. And this little piece of tape here with the chip guard, that can just be worn down over time or from blade alignment. I actually had to take this saw in to get serviced, but when I came back, it was just a little bit out. So I'll have to get new tape eventually. But that just ensures that every time that I'm cutting, I have consistent, repeatable cuts, and that everything's gonna be really consistent so that when I glue it up, it's gonna look seamless. And when I put it on the CNC, I'm actually gonna get a really, really awesome outcome. Everything's gonna be flat and it's gonna take less work for me, frankly, and that's kind of the biggest win. All right, so I've got all of my blanks cut out, right? 30 of them, honestly, for a long panel, kind of like this, a little bit shorter than that. That's a lot of nuts. I mean, that's a lot of wood. Kung Pao, if you understand the reference. So essentially what I'm gonna be doing here, stuff like this will probably just be thrown out, but cut it just in case you need it. So we'll be throwing this on the ends, right? This is end grain. This is what we're looking at here. So they're roughly about the same thickness. And, when you want to get like a really cool, grain transition, if you can notice here, you see a little bit of the raise of the wood. these are both going like this. So in order to create like a cool funky look, I can actually rotate these so they will kind of face in on each other. And if I rotate each and every one, it'll just kind of create this like, you know, unique pattern that's not really predictable and add just a really beautiful look to the entire piece. As well, since they won't be facing the same way, it actually helps structurally to make sure that, you know, everything's working the right way. So yeah, I'll keep doing this. And what I think I'm gonna do is have something likely more like this size, right? It's gonna kind of come down like this. This could be one cutting board right here. And I could put a nice walnut border around it if I'd really like to. Or if I really wanna get fancy, I can put this back there. Let me get you a wider angle on the camera here. Boom. Tape measure, here it is. So I think 14 or, you know, let's say 15 here is a good width, right? It's enough that if you want to put a large piece of meat on here, you'll be in a good spot. I mean, I could go with just 14. That's a pretty decent distance as well. Let's do that. Pull this back. Pull this over here. Now, when you're looking at it, it's one long, massive cutting board. And this is gonna be a perfect butcher block. This is gonna be going to one of my really good friends. So I'm really excited for them to see this and get a look at it. I'm gonna pull the clamps out and get everything glued up. And then over here, this one, I'll probably turn into a slightly smaller butcher block.